Your faithfulness, it reaches to the clouds. Your righteousness is like majestic mountain, and your wisdom like the depth of the sea. And you come to me, filling my heart with your loving kindness. I find my peace in the shadow of your wings. I need my fill from the abundance of your bountiful, and I drink from the stream of rejoicing. Oh, you are my king. 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 Your steadfast love extends to the heavens. We're faithful. Hello, good evening, TBC community, and I'm on to you live, and on a Friday evening, and I just finished from my place of work, and I just thought it reasonable to do a broadcast, this evening, to make sure that I am as consistent as I can within the TBC community. And hope we all had a wonderful day, and hope you enjoyed your time at work. For those of us who are workers, for those of us who are businessmen, or those who are students, I hope you had your time well. Those in the secondary schools, I know that those that are in the higher institutions are still on strike, and from all indications, the strike will be called off after the election. That's for those of us that are in Nigeria. Well, good evening to everyone once again. And I have come to give a broadcast, a very reasonable and interactive broadcast. Why I say it's going to be interactive, if I have people that are on the live broadcast, we can interact. I will get to know a number of other things, concerning TBC. I've really been having a number of challenges. I've been really having challenges within the TBC community, and also outside of the TBC community. Now, when I talk about those that are within the TBC community, the reason why I say I am having challenges with these ones is because they fail to build themselves within the community. They fail to read. The blog is a whole lot of information that you cannot finish exhausting. That's the truth. And a good number of us are just sitting idle and are hoping that sometime TBC becomes spendable, or liquid, as the case implies. But we fail to understand that liquidity within the TBC community is a factor of you and I. I know that a good number of people within the TBC community are people who are educated, people who are well informed. Yes, in our TBC community, we have lawyers, we have engineers like myself, we have doctors, we have all manner of people from all walks of life within the TBC community. These people has TBC at their disposal, but you see, some of them do not believe in what they are holding. Now, I'm going to make time out to address that one, maybe in some other broadcast. But in today's broadcast, I'm going to make us understand something, that our success is dependent on ourselves. What the admin is there to do is to make sure that he provides appropriate platform for us to work within the TBC community. The admin has done well to have provided us with the Kringle Cash. He has done well to provide us with the blog. He has done well to have provided us with a very good wallet, TBC 009. Now, in my next broadcast, I'm going to bother a little about TBC and the security checks that the admin is ensuring to make sure that we succeed in getting to 1 billion. I want us to understand that the wisdom that admin is playing out is a wisdom that comes from God. The wisdom he is playing out is not an ordinary wisdom like we do look at. You know, a good number of us will be like, can this vision really be achievable? Yes, it's going to be achievable. Why I do say it's going to be achievable is because we have a long way to go. In one of admin's blogs, he talked about a marathon race. We are not running a sprint. He clearly made it known to us that we're running a marathon race. And in a marathon race, when you start with speed, you'll find out that before you get to half of the journey, you become tired. Your stamina will run out and you will start limping. And if you're not careful, you will go down. Now, that kind of instance is peculiar to Nigeria. Nigeria within the TBC community are the largest as at now. But I dare to say that in another 4 or 5 years from now, Nigeria wouldn't be the largest in the TBC community again. The question is, why do you think so? I'm going to explain why I do say so. So pardon me, let me share the screen and then let me make reference to Kringle Cash back office. Let's explore it together. In this broadcast, it's going to be more like an interactive system or an interactive session. I hope we can interact, even though I have decided to start building. Building in the sense that I am a broadcaster, I'll be trying to be consistent, or I will try to be as consistent as possible. Like I previously said, my broadcasts are going to be 5 o'clock or 5:30. Now, I would hope, or I would wish that you could subscribe to my channel. Now, when you do subscribe to my channel, anytime I'm on a live broadcast, you're going to get a beep on your handset or on your laptop, as the case may be, that I'm live. So it's going to be between 5 o'clock or 5:30. I would, as much as possible, prefer to make my broadcasts 5 o'clock. Now, there could be some circumstances that could offset the 5 o'clock. And when those circumstances play out, then my broadcast would now be 5:30. I'm going to try as much as possible to keep it steady within that 5 o'clock, 5:30. Okay? Now, going forward, I said I'm going to share the screen with us now, and then we interact. I'm going to show us why I said in another 2 or 3 years from now, the TBC community wouldn't be having Nigeria as the first. And then after that, I would give more details about it. Before I now move into the subject of today, which is talking about the TBC Academy. So let me share my screen, please. Okay. Kennedy Odushola, good evening. And thanks for being on my live broadcast. Now, I want to show us a preview, and I'm going to talk about this particular globe. Now, I have clicked on the globe, and we're going to have a look at it. We're going to have a look at it very briefly. And while it's loading, you will look through. Let's start from here. You see, India, Uganda, Denmark, Netherlands, Nigeria, Cameroon, Nigeria, Burundi, Nigeria, Rwanda, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, and Burundi, Nigeria, Rwanda, Burkina Faso. Yes, Nigeria is reflecting more often, I know. But you see, it wasn't as often as it was before. Now, if you still look down, you see that there are other countries that are seriously coming in, so that you are not seeing anything on Nigeria. It's different countries, different countries, different countries, different countries. I do know that we are building our TBC community. But the bottom line I'm actually driving at is it took a while before we saw another Nigeria. Now, why is it that Nigeria are beginning to slack? It's simple. Nigerians are beginning to slack. Now, I call slack in the sense that they are beginning to fall behind. Nigerians are beginning to fall behind because they are impatient. One. Two, they are unwilling to help in building the TBC community. That's another thing. They just want to have these coins. So many of them have these coins and they're asking themselves, what do I do with these coins? Now, I will tell you what we are going to do. Now, maybe many of us may not have known, but let me explain now. Please, I want us to hear me. The admin understands very well what the plans of the elites are. The admin understands very well that the system cannot be remedied. That was why he decided to build another system purely based on the internet. And that is what we are doing. Now, when we look into this particular globe carefully, you will find out that different countries are beginning to lighten up. And you can only see a little of Nigeria. Now, back to what I was saying. The admin built a new system that is reliable and sustainable. Now, why is it reliable and sustainable? The reason why it is reliable is because it's built on the blockchain and it's peer-to-peer. It is based on a peer-to-peer system. Peer-to-peer in the sense that it is between you and I. No other person has the right to tell us what to do and what not to do, as long as the both of us are agreed on a certain amount or on a certain thing. Now, as long as you say yes to this service, then I render those service to you. Or you choose to say yes to these goods, and then I render those service to you. Now, that makes us a system that is very reliable. Now, another thing that makes it sustainable is simple, because everyone within the TBC community comes in and has a yearly maintenance fee. I choose to call it a yearly maintenance fee. Reason, because you have to pay it every year and it's used to make the community build and become much stronger. So you see, we're a system that is funded. We are funded, but we are self-funded, meaning we are not borrowing from anybody. We are not borrowing from anyone within the world. What we're doing is that we are within ourselves, building ourselves, and we are growing. Now, when you come in based on the membership agreements, you click on the link, and after you've clicked on the link, then you come in as a member. Previously, what they do is they send in, what do you call it? They send in a text message to your email. But you know, admin has upgraded that system. Now, that thing has two advantages, or it has an advantage and a disadvantage. Now, the advantage it has is that you don't need to go to start clicking on the link within your email address. Now, the disadvantage that it has is that so many people who do not understand that TBC is a long-term thing, by the time they realize it, they may not have their informations again. And it may be a long thing for them to get those informations. So the choice is yours. If you want to be within the TBC community, please keep your informations very safe. Sorry, a minute.
One pass. Okay.
Yeah. All right. I needed to attend to someone. So back to what I was saying. Concerning the TBC community at large. Now, a number of things are going to happen, and it will happen slowly. A number of things are going to happen, and it will happen slowly. Now, while I was with a colleague of mine, this evening, he said that TBC over time is going to constitute a threat to the government system. Now, he said that our ultimate goal and our ultimate agenda is to make sure that the system becomes obsolete. Now, what does it mean for systems to become obsolete? Now, I earlier on told us that those of us who has not read, please make time out. My two previous, a video before this one that I did a broadcast. Let's talk about sec reads. Now, one of the things that was clearly stated by Pantera Duro was that our TBC community should not use Kringle coins to make payments to government agencies or the likes using Kringles. It was clearly stated there. Let me take my time out to read it out so that we may understand what I mean. Under public notice. Now, it's under this second version. Number 10, it was precisely number 10. A number of things too, you could take your time to look at it, but let me look at this number 10. This number 10 said, the society is not a public or corporate entity. It is not an enemy. It is not a belligerent. It is not a rebel. It's not an insurgent. And it is not subject to public use. It is not subject to public use taxes of any kind. Now, what does it mean by not being subject to public? Meaning that you cannot use Kringle coins to make payments in the public domain. Now, let me explain. Maybe a number of us may not have understood this concept. It's trying to tell us, because what makes the government strong is the taxes they collect from its citizens for developing the community, developing the countries. That's what makes them strong. But a time shall come when the bulk of the world will become TBC members. I don't know when that will be. But when it is bound by law as an agreement that the TBC community should not pay taxes to the government. Yes, we're going to run side by side for a good while. But after a certain while, what happens is we become an independent system where everything we would need on this world or in this world will be within our community. We may not need the help or the favors that the governments do give. That is, we will be able to do without the government. Now, when we get to that point, the government would not be able to tax members within the TBC community. And as long as they are not able to tax members within the TBC community, by default, they will begin to die off. Now, it's not a thing of war. It's not a thing of fight. Now, according to what my colleague said, he said that when we get to that point, that the government would rise, that America, US, and the likes would rise up against, China and the likes would rise up against us. Why are they going to rise up against us? Simple, because we want to render their system obsolete. Now, I am certain that you may not have known, but if you do not know, now you are knowing about it. The billion coin is a system that is fighting against the financial system. It is a rebellious kind of system. Now, rebellious in quotes, not rebellious to your own disadvantage, to your own detriment or to your own failure. No, it's a system that is giving life back to people. It is a system that is restoring humanity to how it was originally created. Now, this my colleague is an informed economist. In fact, he's an expert. Now, after he had understood how our system operates, he said that this system over time will constitute a threat. Now, maybe as a community member, you may not be aware, but if you are a community member, become aware today, because in another short distance from now, what would happen is that they will find out that we are changing the economy to our own advantage. We are reconstructing the world back to Mother Earth, how it was originally supposed to be created, or how it was originally supposed to be. from foundation of this earth. The original plan that God wanted us to work with, that is how we are going to recreate it. But they are not going to stop without fighting. They wouldn't just fold their hands to see that kind of thing become a reality. No, they are going to fight us. But when they would choose to fight us, when they would come out to fight us, we know that between now and then we have been well fortified to be able to combat any kind of imaginations that they will try to rear up. Yes, recently they picked up a lady, that's a whitefish lady, we all know about her. And you know, she made some comments that the admin never cared about even coming to her aid in any way, especially financially. Well, we don't see that this kind of thing is going to just stop at her. But you see, that is the whole reason why this secret was written. We were bamboozled. We were troubled by the fact that they started picking our members and started subpoenaing them, asking them to appear in the court of law to defend their currency, which is our private currency. But guess what? We went into building up this system, Pantera do rule, and they built up a system and made it clear that they should not trespass. We are a system self-governed, and it is contrary to law to break our own rules, since we are not a violent institution. Now, let me read it out again. Maybe you may not have heard. We are not public. We are not a public or corporate entity. The society is not a public or corporate entity. It's not an enemy. It's not a belligerent. It's not a rebel. It's not an insurgent. And it is not subject to public use taxes of any kind. Meaning that since it has been established that we are none of these, then it is contrary to rule to play out by giving them taxes. It is contrary to the rule. So the point I'm actually driving at is that within our TBC community, we are more than what you think we are. We are not just a private system, but a system that will impact change to the world. We are a system that is going to bring vision, growth, and stop all the wickedness. By how? By working with our private coin and agreeing to love one another. As simple as that. Now, I've actually digressed from the reality or from what I intended to talk about. Now, let me quickly move into what I wanted to discuss about. Now, my topic for today is my topic for today is let's talk about TBC Academy and broadcasters in our community. Now, I start up on the first one, broadcasters. I don't want to start up with the TBC Academy. Now, who are these broadcasters? Broadcasters are people within the TBC community, and they are people that help to promote the TBC, help to promote TBC in general. That's who broadcasters are. Now, you could be a broadcaster and promote the TBC community by making people wake up. Now, the people who you cause to wake up are those people that are able to come into the YouTube or go into our daily broadcast and then have a look at it and then listen to one or two people. Now, if they are ignorant or they want to know more about TBC, a broadcaster can help to shine the light on the person. Now, another thing I also want to say is, as a broadcaster, you can help to grow yourself within the TBC community. That's one very good thing that broadcasters can do. They can help to grow themselves within the TBC community. How can they grow themselves? I'll give an instance. Randy Wilson. Randy Wilson has been very consistent, and Stephen Caffey also has been consistent. And a number of people like Bex Pio, Kipayo, and all that, they've been very consistent within the TBC community. They have made sure that a good number of people know them as broadcasters, and they've been able to get their audience. Now, that's exactly what I'm going to go into now. I'm going to, as much as possible, build my audience to make sure that people are awake to the events that are happening within the TBC community. Also, as a broadcaster, you can bring in those your audience and give them personal lectures. It's now left to you to decide how you want to go about giving them a personal lecture. You can decide to give them a personal lecture, okay, or you could give them a group lecture. Now, this wouldn't be during the time you are doing your broadcast. Your broadcast is to create the awareness. And after creating that awareness, then you beckon on them. If they are interested to come in, then they will come in. And now when they come in, they wouldn't come in for free. That's one thing we should understand. Coming into the TBC community and being a broadcaster is enough responsibility. And the responsibility has two edges. The first edge is to make sure that the community is at peace and is at ease and is familiar with you and then would love you. Maybe because of the way you go about your broadcast, maybe because of the topics you bring up, maybe because of your composure, they may just love you for some things. But it's not good enough to just love you. They may love you and they may decide to say, okay, I think I followed this person for a while. I want him to mentor me. Now, when he accepts that you mentor him, it is now you to nurture him very well. And as long as you nurture him very well, it's only normal for him to reciprocate in kind or in cash, as the case may be. So the bottom line I'm driving at is broadcasters within the TBC community, they have the opportunity to create audience around them. And after creating audience around them, they have a way to educate people on what TBC is all about. TBC is an awakening. TBC is an evolution. TBC has a goal. And what is the goal? To end poverty globally. We are going to exist side by side the current financial system. But after a long while, we are going to continue to improve and get better until the point where our system becomes a self-sustainable system and we wouldn't need the help of the government-regulated system. And by default, I wouldn't want to say what will become of those systems. It's left for you to say. Now, the final thing I want to talk about before I call it close, because I know my time is almost up, is about the TBC Academy. Now, let's quickly go into the TBC Academy. Now, this is the TBC Academy. Now, this TBC Academy can be likened to the same thing that Randy Wilson uses. Randy Wilson makes use of his own designed website. Every serious broadcaster should be able to have an academy in quotes. Now, Randy's academy is tbcrandy.com. You could go there to learn how to do cash flow, okay? Now, learning how to do cash flow is one thing. Another thing is understanding what TBC is all about. In fact, I think the most important thing is understanding what TBC is all about. Because if you are able to understand TBC, then it will be easy to cash flow. Why? Because when you understand TBC, you would integrate TBC into your personal life. And you'll be charging little amounts for anything. Maybe you could afford to say, you could pay me in 10% Kringle and then 90% cash. And they're like, what is Kringle all about? You educate them. Now, since you are someone willing to accept Kringle, and you have done it by example, it will be very simple for them to also accept it after they've done the necessary registrations. Are you getting me? Now, the bottom line I'm driving at is, this academy is built to educate people about TBC. It is not built only for cash flow. Of course, you can also do cash flow within this academy, because I will teach you how to go about doing cash flow. But the thing we bother more upon is how to go about understanding what our goal is within the TBC community. Our goal is to recreate the world system. Our goal is to make sure that poverty does not continue. Our goal is to make you understand that there is a difference between the first world country and the third world country. And that difference was created by a few sets of people which are called the world elites. We are going to also educate you on how the system is called a debt slavery system. We are going to make you know why the world is under debt. The US is in debt, and all this and all that. All the developed countries are also under debt. And how we are going to offset it? Because sooner or later, this system is going to crumble. Now, when this system crumbles, what is going to happen is a new system will be built up, but that system will be backed up by gold. When that system, it is on the public domain, it will be backed up by gold. When it is being backed up by gold, it cements the system that is already existing. Which system? The wide gap between the first world country and the third world country. When they have sealed it by backing it up by gold, then forever, perpetually, we are going to be under bondage. Perpetually, we are going to borrow. We are going to be under them for life. Now, TBC came out to offset that reality that the elites want to create. And in this, our TBC Academy, we're going to teach you on how to go about it. Understand why you should not be careless with your username and your password. We will teach you how to gain more TBC coins. A number of things that you're supposed to know about TBC. You shall be informed about it in this academy, okay? Now, let's quickly explore the academy very briefly. On your own, you could take your time to read more about us. You could take your time to read more about us. And then after that, you could have a better understanding of what we are about. Now, this is our logo, our Kringle logo, meaning the Kringle Private Society. We are using this. And look, if you look at it, freedom, love, joy, happiness, thankfulness, abundance, the billion coin. If you're interested in signing up, you put in your name, your email, your phone number, choose the class. Our classes are 3. Introductory class, master's class, advanced learners class. Whichever one you feel you can handle, feel free, do so. In our community, in our academy, we accept Kringles as 50% payments. We accept cash as 50% payments. We also accept coins such as Bitcoin. We also accept Litecoin. And we also accept Ethereum, as the case may be. All you need to do is do the registration. If you're outside of the country, Nigeria, you can do your registrations and come in. And our classes do span for at least a month, most likely on weekends. Now, most likely on weekends. However, if you choose to say you want to handle a one-on-one private lesson, you are open to it. I can teach you on a private note. Within a very short period of time, you would have gotten yourself informed. And once you're informed about the system, then you can now go out. Now you can begin to do your cash flow. Also, I would mentor you on your cash flow. As you are doing your cash flow, you'll continue to build, you'll continue to grow, you'll continue to make your returns. And that is it. Okay? Now, these are the classes within our academy. This is the introductory class. This is the master's class. This is the advanced learners class. As the case may be, whichever one you're interested to look into. Now, I also want us to understand that this system was modeled like the admin. The admin modeled a system, and I'm taking after his concept. It's from his concept that I am building this academy. And if you look into it, everything spans for a period of 4 weeks. Now, we also have our blog, our academy's blog. Before I go into our academy's blog, this is our administrative team. Our administrative team are made up of 6 people that are active within the TBC community. These are the admin teams. And these are the ones that manage how our community or our academy survives. Now, if you want to read more about it, fine. This is our cash center. If you want to know more about our cash center, in cash center, this is buy cryptocurrency. Yes, you can buy cryptocurrencies from us based on the terms and conditions of what admin said, which is 20% of, well, no, admin talked about that concerning payment of back office. Now, apart from payment of back office, you could buy Bitcoin from us at any amount you want. We'll also sell it to you. If you want to buy Kringle coins from us, we can also do that. And if you also want to make payments for your wallet, we can also help you. That's our cash center. Now, before I'll call it quits, let me quickly go into the other 2. Now, the other 2 is this one. This is also our blog. Now, this is a step-by-step guide on how to understand the workings within the Kringle Private Society. You could take your time and look at it. This is terms and conditions of the Billion Coin Academy. And then it's too early to quit the cash flow system. Every time new blocks come up, it is presented in this manner. Okay. Now, finally, if you want to contact us on a personal note, you could feel free, put in your name here, put in your email address, and then put in the information you want and submit. We will attend to you as soon as possible. Okay. Now, our classes are sent to you as soon as new batch of classes begin. We'll make you know that new batches are beginning their classes. As simple as that. We'll make you know that new batches are beginning their classes. Now, the classes are being run every month. Currently now, another class will soon begin. And once the class begins, then it will continue for another 1 month. That is, every week we have the classes consistently. However, there is no time you will come in that you cannot register. Once you've registered, you can also become a member within the TBC community and enjoy flowing and enjoying. You can come into the community in the TBC Academy and then become a member and enjoy the benefits that are in it. Now, before I would go, I want us to talk about this one at the bottom, which is the marquee. Now, the marquee just gives a brief update on the people that are within the TBC community in this academy. Let's look at it quietly and quickly. Now, the first thing we are going to look into is, let these ones finish, let the new ones come in. The first thing we want to look into is this one that will be coming out. Latest status. Number of visitors to this academy, 1,453. Not too bad. Number of students in the introductory class, 30. Manageable. Number of graduates in the introductory class, 2. Number of students in the master's class, 19. Number of graduates from the master's class, 11. And number of students in the advanced learners class, 4. Number of graduates from the advanced learners class, 0. Okay, now, important blog post. Quitters never run. We are genuine. That's the truth. We are really genuine. A number of us may be thinking we are not. We are genuine. Okay? And then the next one is do a flawless broadcast. The next one is what? A video introductory guide. Now, all these things are linked to this particular blog. Now, before I go, let me quickly click on our blog. Now, this is our academy blog. There are not much information as at now, but over time it will be populated. Okay. Now, these are the informations as at now. And we can also click whatever language you want it to be. You can choose to pick it in any language. Let's use Arabic, for instance. We can change it to this language. So we are ready for business. Okay. All we need to do is call our attention, do your necessary registrations, and that is all. Okay. All right. So maybe we can have a look at one of them. These are the terms and conditions. On your own, you can take your time, read through every information concerning the terms and conditions within the TBC Academy. Okay? Now, we're going to look into one more. Let me see. Okay? We can also look into this one. Okay? Now, this is just a video. And you can also look this one. Look this one up. So you see, these are information we can take our time to read through. Okay? Now, another thing I want to say is, I am not trying to compete with the admin of the TBC community. Please, I would like this to be made known and clear. We are only here to make sure that in our own way, we do broadcasts, and then we are able to teach people about TBC. Because this thing is, the world has been brainwashed into the reality of life. But we are here to give back the reality to humanity, because we are being controlled by the media. We are being controlled by almost everything around us. But the TBC community has said, no, we can't continue in this way. So I think I'm going to stop here. I've finished with my broadcast. I don't know if there's anyone that has questions to ask at this moment. Okay. So, all right. I think I'll stop here. If there is any information that you need to pass across, my details are at the bottom. Once you click on the bottom, you will find more of our information. You want to register, the link is there. My Kringle Cash link is there. And also the Billion Fund Academy link is also there. All right, I think I'll stop here. Thank you very much for audience. I sincerely do appreciate it. Do take care of yourself. We're going to meet again by Monday by the special grace of God. Monday, same time, 5 p.m. or 5:30 p.m. as the case may be. Thank you very much for audience. God bless you. Do have a lovely weekend. Bye for now. Cheers.